So we've heard of the Cleopatra drama, and I wanted to stay away from it. You know why? Because I'm doing free marketing for them. I got to know about the show through YouTube. People just screaming and complaining about Cleopatra moving from one particular race to another different race. So I got to know everything by YouTube. So me doing this is actually promoting the show, because I'm now a part of the problem, because I'm probably going to make someone watch it because I talked about it. And I learned it from someone else who was talking about it. So it's actually free marketing for Netflix. I think Netflix usually goes like, oh, you have a great idea, we'd like to work with you, but within that idea you need to put in something controversial, something that will trigger people, something that will get people talking, so that we get our free marketing. That's what I thought, and that's why I really tried to avoid doing this. I did not want to do this. I did not want to talk about this, because first of all, after watching the trailer, I realized that this show was not meant for me. It's meant for women, specifically black women, because it's coming from Jada Pinkett, clearly from the trailer. It's not meant for the dudes. The dudes can go and F themselves. This is for women. So I tried to stay away from it. I tried to stay away from what the director, I think her name is Tina. Wait, let me check. Her name is Tina Garavi. I hope I did not butcher that name. Now, apparently in the US, when you make something controversial, you become somehow of a legend, because I think the fact that this is very controversial, it's big. Anyway, so that's from the director. Now, I did not want to talk about this until I saw something by Variety on the issue, when Tina Garavi now kind of responded to the criticism that was coming out. So I went in because I wanted to also learn what's the big deal about this and how does the director feel about this. Now, I read everything, but one particular paragraph caught my eye, and I'm going to read it out. So it's perhaps it's not just that I directed a series that portrays Cleopatra as black, but I have asked Egyptians to see themselves as Africans, and they are furious at me for that. I'm okay with this. So she did this to try make Egyptians also understand that they're also Africans. Let me just talk about what I saw in the trailer versus what the director is saying, but versus what is. Now, the director clearly doesn't understand that African is different. Africa is different. Africa is not about just having a darker complexion. There is more to us than that. We are different. You've ever heard of this thing whereby Japanese get angry when you call them Chinese, and Koreans get angry when you call them Japanese? Same thing with Africa. We not only are we black, but we are also very diverse. We are different tribes. We have. I am a Bantu. Actually, let me give you this example. This is Lupita Nyong'o. This is Brenda Wairimu. Brenda Wairimu is a Kenyan actress. Okay, Lupita is famous, she's big, she's all this, but she's also Kenyan. From the same country, from the same continent. Lupita is from the Luo people. Brenda is from the Kikuyu people. The Kikuyu people are Bantu. The Luo people are Nilots. They look different. So if you wanted to make an authentic Egyptian show that portrays Egyptians as Africans, first of all, you have to go to the roots of Egypt and understand which kind of tribes lived in Egypt. The original African tribes that lived in Egypt. There was the Berbers, the Beja, and the Bedouins. And they were heavily influenced by the Arabic Peninsula, so they have that Arabic look to them. And if you wanted to also add something African within that particular story, it would be something from the Kushites and the Nilotes. So yeah, we have Kushites, we have Bantus, we have Khoisans, we have the Bejas, the Berbers, we have all these groups. The North Africa people look totally different from the West African people. The West African people look totally different, not totally, but look slightly different from the East African people. The East African people look different from the South African people. Look at Mandela and Obama. Their eyes. Obama was from an East African father. Mandela is from South Africa. They have different features, and so they look different. So with this particular show, if you look at particular scenes and particular characters within that group of people who were selected to play particular parts, they don't look like anything that was in Egypt. Some people look like they're from West Africa. I'm sorry to say, like for example, this particular frame. This woman looks like she's from West Africa. She looks West African, Central African. She does not look like she's from North Africa. So there's a difference. North African people were influenced by the Arabs. So if you had gone for either all the other slaves, all the people who are working around, the servants in Cleopatra's quarters, if they had a look, it would have been Kushites, which is tall. It should have been Nilotes, which is tall and very, very dark. or it should have been the Berber people, Arabic kind of looking people. And if you even chose Arabic to be a part of that, the servants of this show, it would have made more sense. So the fact that you're trying to make them feel like Africans, yet they are Africans, means that you don't understand. The director team, and the production team, the people who are working on this show, do not understand Egypt. They don't understand the people that are coming from there. Yes, they may look different and act different, but they are part of Africa. The original tribes from that country were Africans, and they are still Africans. Yes, they may have a different complexion, but they are Africans. So if you wanted to make Cleopatra black, you should have gone with the Nilotes or Cushet, which is a much darker complexion. And if it was something else, it would have been a Beja or a Baba or a Bedio. That would have made more sense. You would have gone for that Arabian influenced look, because this look is not from that part of Africa. The other thing, this is a documentary. Stop lying to your kids. I'm sorry to say, I'm African. I love the idea that they're trying. I would love my daughter to watch something that represents African women in a big way. You know, like something that was awesome. If it was a movie or an animation, but it's a documentary. You're trying to convince these black young girls that Cleopatra was something that clearly she was not. Yes, in the past Cleopatra was depicted as white, but if you want to balance things out, is you tell the truth. You don't create another lie to cancel another lie. That doesn't make sense. I wouldn't want my daughter to watch this and then realize, oh my goodness, in the future when she grows up, when she's like an adult, oh my goodness, Cleopatra was not actually black. I was lied to. It's the sandalize. It's what Netflix and Akina Jada Pinkett are doing. It's equivalent to saying that Santa exists. It's the same lie. As a child, you grow up. As a child, they grow up. Children in the West believe that Santa exists, and they grow up and they learn that, oh, it was actually a lie. So yeah. So even with this said, and this is what makes me feel frustrated, and actually just, you see, me talking about this or any other YouTuber complaining about this, YouTube doesn't care. They don't give a F. They only care about the subscription, the subscriber. You can talk all the nonsense. We can talk because it's a fact. What these people are trying to do is a lie. But Netflix doesn't care enough to put more attention into what is being done. This is, as I said, you cannot cancel a lie with another lie. Make animated sequences if you feel that you cannot choose a real person. Have them being voiced by black people. It doesn't really matter. You know, it's an animated whatever. Try to be as accurate as possible so that our children grow up. They don't go like, oh my goodness, Dad, why did you let me learn about this lie on Netflix? You know. So yeah, Netflix, you're lying to girls. I don't know whose show. When I watched the trailer, one thing got me that it looks like just another generic Netflix show meant for women, you know, and so it's pushing for a certain audience. It's not pushing for guys. But if I had a daughter, there's no way that she could watch this thing. I'd rather take her to a museum in Egypt and learn there about it. Look at real sculptures, or I don't know, do my own research and expose her to the real thing. I'd rather get her inspired by the truth than a lie. Maybe they'll have a warning at the beginning that says that this show is ABCD was inspired by ABCD. What you see is a reenactment, so they decided to do something creative with it. But here's the thing, if it was a movie, it would have made more sense. But if it's a documentary, then I don't really understand what Netflix was going for either. I clearly understand what Jada and the director were going for, which is basically pushing for their own agenda, which is they are molding, which is something that has been done by Hollywood in the past. But as I said, you cannot cancel out a lie with another lie. They're trying to mold history and make it the way they would want it to be. And I know that is cinema, but sometimes facts make more sense than fiction. Yes, you'll have all these professionals talk about it on screen, but you see, here's the thing about visual communication. Visuals speak more than words. Those experts can come on screen and say whatever they want to see, but what will leave a bigger impression is what your young girls will see on screen, because that is what sticks. I mean, right now I'm talking a lot, but everything that I'm saying, most of it you don't remember. But if I was to add a few screenshots, you will remember those screenshots more than whatever is coming out of my mouth, because that's how we are wired. We respond. Our memories respond to imagery more than to words. Even written words is imagery. typography is imagery. That's why we tend to remember it more than actually listening to someone else say something. So yeah, that's basically it. Cleopatra is, and I speak as an African. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya. Kenya is on the east side of Africa. It's all on the north side of Africa. On the north is bordered by Ethiopia. On the northeast is bordered by Somalia. On the northwest is bordered by Sudan. On the west side is bordered by Uganda. And on the south is bordered by Tanzania. So on the northwest is Sudan and then Egypt. So when you look at Egypt, we are at the southeast of Egypt. And you see, when you look at the Sudan people are at the south. So if you are to have servants, and this is the thing about Egypt, they had a lot of slaves. And if you are to have servants and slaves in Cleopatra's area, it would have been more darker, taller people, either from Sudan, the Kushites and the Nilotes, or from Ethiopia and Eritrea and those sides. And then now you'll have from Tunisia, Algeria, you'll have the Berbers and the Behance. So yeah, I would want to do more history on this, but do your own research. If you think what I'm saying is a lot of garbage, you just go online, look at the tribes of Egypt, look at Beja, look at Bidion, look at the Berbers, and look at what influenced the north part of Africa. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.